Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined as usual by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Jared. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. If everybody's wondering, Florida is thawing out. It's decided to be a little warmer. I'm pretty happy about that.
It's currently 71 degrees.
Yeah.
So,
as it should be.
I mean, I know we talk about it all the time. We talk about weather all the time because sometimes it's like really cold, sometimes really hot. We just like to discuss the weather. That's just how we are.
Wait, are you saying we're old?
But yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for 71 for the high for here is pretty typical of February. So like the fact that it was so cold last week, very, very weird. So that's why we had to discuss it constantly.
Well, I think, most of the country was under a strange weather
Right.
anomaly. So, yeah, especially Florida. Just
Yeah.
whatever. But we were at Disney over the cold spell. We had our
did.
meetup, and we got to check out Festival of the Arts and do
Yep.
Yeehaw Bob. I had never done Yeehaw Bob before. If you
Yeah.
don't know what that is a show over at Riverside where he
Yeah.
plays the piano. And that, I think he's, 72 years old?
Something like that. Yeah.
He has more energy than I think I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like watching him perform, like, I'm tired watching you.
I know.
Which I think you had done Yeehaw Bob one other time before.
It had been a couple of years, but yeah.
And so we got there. It was packed because obviously it was cold outside. Everybody was finding things to do indoors.
Yeah.
Traffic was crazy.
Yeah.
Because on the way over there, we decided to stop by McDonald's to get like a full meal. Because we'd had just like stuff around at like Festival of the Arts and things like that. Mm-hmm. And it was a madhouse getting to McDonald's. And then we get to Riverside, and some of the people in Club 32 already had a table that was like right in front of the stage. And I don't even think I had sat down yet. And out comes Yeehaw Bob was going around talking to people, and he's like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Oh no." So I gave him my name. He wrote it down. I was like, "This is going to come back to get me." And later on the show, I became part of the show. I had to run around the bar as he commanded me to do so, which I did. It was a good time. But yeah,
It was very funny.
It was a really fun show, I will say. And again, that guy, man, and by the way, he's in really good shape.
He is. He's in very good shape.
As somebody who has been around that realm for a long time, he definitely weight trains. Like, I want to be Yeehaw Bob when I'm 72.
Okay. Yeehaw, Jared.
Yeehaw, Jared. My shows would not be as energetic.
I mean,
It'd be a lot of me like Ron Swanson, just people like, "What's your problem?" They like, "Tell me your problem." Like, that's not really a problem.
it's hard to picture you as a performer.
What do you think I do all the time?
I meant with the piano and like music. Like,
right.
I can't picture that.
I can't play the piano. So my show would be like me with the recorder or something.
Oh
It'd be a very different show. Not nearly as good, mind you, but
Well, that's fair.
just be me ranting about random things probably.
Right.
People are like, "This show sucks."
Jared rants.
There you go.
I know. It's good. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Doesn't roll off the tongue like Yeehaw Bob does, I suppose. But yeah, we did have a lot of lounges.
Lots of lounges last weekend. Exclusively, I think.
Lounges and
Lounge after
food
lounge.
festival booths,
Yeah.
essentially, which we're going to talk about next week.
Mm-hmm.
Because on this episode, we did get the big news this week of the new Disney CEO, which is Josh D'Amaro, which is not a surprise to anybody who's listened to this show for very long. Or really, I don't think... I think most places and people were saying it was going to be him. I don't think anybody was like shocked to learn it was him that became CEO.
Right.
So we're going to talk about that. And then we actually have Kendra from Zip Travel back on the show. She's going to be joined by Lauren and Kyndal as they went on the Disney Destiny. And so they're going to have a recap of their trip. Mm-hmm. So that part I'm not involved with. Jamie recorded that previously.
I did, yes.
I figured I had to, I was like, I'll watch the kids, 4 people on there. Or like, actually, it would have been 5 people. So it probably worked out better just, the 4 of you guys doing that. So that's it. That's what we're going to talk about in the show today. Mostly about the CEO discussion, then talking about Disney Destiny. And then next week, we'll talk about Festival of the Arts and all that stuff that we did over the Club 32 meetup. So that's what we're going to do in today's episode. But before we get to the news, just want to remind everybody, if you are watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't know we had video versions of the show, go to YouTube at CTM Podcast. You can subscribe over there. And of course, if you're listening on good old trusty audio podcast format, you can find us on all the major platforms there. I just ask you to please subscribe and leave us a review if you're able to. We'd greatly appreciate it. It helps us continue to grow the show and I guess work those algorithms that are everywhere. Good old algorithms everywhere. So,
Good old algorithms.
all right, well, let's talk about really the main news story we're going to talk about, and everything around it is the announcement of the new Disney CEO, which, of course, is Josh D'Amaro. And we knew, so a lot of people at least thought during their earnings call, which was only the day before, that they might name the CEO. Then they did not do that. And then they did announce that they were going to take a shareholder or a board vote this week.
Board of directors, yeah.
It was supposed to be over a few days. And basically it was unanimous. And they went ahead and announced that it was Josh D'Amaro that was going to be the new Disney CEO. But along with that, Dana Walden, who was in the running as well, was promoted to president and
Chief Creative Officer.
Yes, Chief Creative Officer. So those are the two big promotions there.
Yeah. I mean, no, like you said, no one was shocked by this announcement. But the reception to it is very mixed.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think the parks people. So I'm also okay. I might have an interesting position on this. As much criticism as I have had about the Disney parks in the past 6 years, which I have had a lot. If you listen to this show, I don't think that the changes in the parks have been better for the guest experience. I think it's been really good for Disney's pocketbooks, of course, talking about, charging for things that used to be free, the increase in pricing and all, the perks going away, all those things. But my question about a lot of those changes was always, was it all Josh D'Amaro? Now, obviously, he's head of the parks, so the buck stops with him in many ways. But as long as we've been around theme parks, Disney rumored to wanting to charge for fast passes and things was nothing new. I mean, those rumors were out there, and I think they wanted to do this long ago. They just never really, I guess you could just say, had the fortitude to really pull that trigger until COVID shutdown happened and the reopening. And I remember whenever the parks were still closed down, getting ready to reopen, there was a lot of people that were reaching out saying Disney's going to be changing a lot of stuff. They're looking at this as a way to reset things.
Yeah.
And that's when they introduced, fast passes went away, all that, all those things started changing. And so I don't know how much of the park changes is solely on Josh and how much of this is C-suite. Because the other thing I think about too is the parks make the most money for the company. And it makes a lot of sense if you're higher up saying, hey, we need to get more money out of these parks. So I think for that reason, I've never really been, I just don't know, when it comes to the park changes. But I will say from a personnel standpoint, he's very likable.
Yes, that's true.
He's a people person. I think a lot of the parks people do like him. He stops and gets pictures with people all the time. So I can understand the, people just not being sure because you look at the park stuff, you're like, well, I don't like that direction, but he seems personable. He's energetic. He's charismatic. And then people that don't know the theme parks are probably like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that and we don't know a lot about Josh in terms of how he will lead a company. So there is a lot of unknowns, I would say. I mean, what are your thoughts on, Josh becoming the CEO?
I mean, we kind of already covered this a little bit the weeks prior, but I mean, I think it was inevitable. The parks were and still are, are they the biggest moneymaker? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
And I think
by far.
And I think that is the reason why, putting him in charge makes the most sense. I think obviously the movie division, is not doing super, super great currently. And that could use thing. And just Disney Plus also but the parks seem to be really, really strong. So putting the person that's in charge of that is probably the best way to go. So, I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Yeah. And even with, I was saying, all the park stuff that I don't like, I think he potentially could be a good CEO. Now, I know a lot of people are going to have hot takes about, oh, he's going to crash and burn, or, oh, he's going to be the best ever, which I don't know how many people think that. But I think undoubtedly if your bar is being better than Bob Chapek, I think he can definitely do that. I don't think Bob Chapek... I don't think Bob Chapek got a fair shake, but I also don't think Bob Chapek was a good choice for CEO.
Right.
I've never thought that. I think he would have been a good CEO for, say, a mortgage company or something like that, but not the Walt Disney Company. And I also think, and mind you, I might be in the minority, I've never been a huge Bob Iger fan. I've been on this bandwagon a long time being I don't think Bob Iger's that great. He likes to buy stuff, but I don't think he's been a really good CEO in terms of, if you look at, as time has gone on, a lot of the things that in my opinion, have hampered the company are directly from Bob Iger. And I think he benefited a lot, especially in Disney World, from what Michael Eisner set up before him.
Yeah.
So I think he definitely had a lot of advantages there. So I think tomorrow could be better than Bob Iger, which, again, I don't think is that high of a bar. So I kind of feel like at the very least he could be a okay CEO, I suppose.
Yeah.
If he's better than that, that's great. But he does have the chops. I mean, he looks the part. He's good in front of a camera. And one thing that was talked about a lot in the lead up to this in multiple articles were people inside of Disney saying he was really persuasive about, having a vision and what he wanted to do, where he wanted to take the company. And I don't think anybody else was able to do that. And especially comparing it to like him and Dana Walden, he's very front facing. He's been in front of the cameras. He's been doing a lot of the things that a CEO does, going into these conferences and things like that.
Yeah. And
so I think as time went on, he was the obvious choice. I didn't really think, especially the last 6 months, I was like, I don't think Walden really has a shot at this, simply because Josh seemed to be positioning himself very well for this.
For sure.
And so that's not surprising. I'm more surprised, not at Dana Walden becoming president, because, again, James Gorman was heading up this whole secession plan here. Same strategy he did, I think it was at JP Morgan, where people that did not get the CEO position got promotions and pay raises to retain the talent so people didn't leave, which is typically what you do see. If somebody doesn't get the CEO spot, they leave.
Yeah.
That's what happened the last go-around with like Kevin Mayer and Tom Staggs. So I'm not surprised at her being president. I'm kind of surprised at her being chief creative officer, because I don't understand, like, she's an executive.
Yeah.
That to me is a little strange.
Okay.
But she did get a promotion there. So it's kind of a dual CEO setup in some ways. I mean, very similar to Eisner and Frank Wells and kind of the way this is set up, perhaps. And the worries people have about it tomorrow is he doesn't know anything about movies and TV side of stuff.
Right.
And so obviously she'll do a lot of that. And perhaps he can just focus on, I mean, I think he is going to focus on the parks a lot because that's what he knows. And then they also brought in somebody else. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I actually don't have my computer on me. It's transferring some files, so I just have my phone. But they brought in somebody to basically handle like more business acquisition type stuff. So I feel like they're trying to take some of the stuff off of his plate that maybe Iger did, that allows him to maybe just focus on ideally the culture, what he wants to focus on, the things he wants to do. So, I'll say the whole time, I will give the man a fair shake. I'm not going to have a hot take either way. I actually think he has the potential, though, to be a pretty decent CEO. And I guess we'll find out pretty soon how much of the stuff he was doing was his own doing and how much of it was stuff that, like, Bob Iger and the rest of the C-suite wanted done.
Yeah.
Eventually that question will be answered. So that's kind of my take on it. I'm just sort of a wait and see what he does.
Okay. And something we haven't mentioned just yet is when he's taking over, when Josh is taking over. And apparently it's March 18th this year, and it is going to happen after the annual shareholders meeting. And then Bob Iger, who has his contract till the end of the year, he is just going to basically just be kind of an advisor. Like he's officially done as CEO then.
Yeah.
But they also alluded to that he wouldn't be there the full time.
Well, they never were specific about that. That part's interesting because that kind of leaked out that Iger was growing, I guess you could say, tired. He had said some quotes about the Jimmy Kimmel situation really sort of like drained him and things like that. But the fact that one of the bigger things out of this is that Iger essentially is just, I mean, he's just going to be advising, and Josh is going to be heading up everything after March 18th. I think, personally, maybe this is conspiratorial. I think this is Disney's nice way of being like, time to go, Bob. Because I think he has been in legacy mode for a while now.
Well, I mean, remember he wasn't supposed to be past, 2 years ago? They renewed it again. And he was like, okay.
Well, and Iger, I think he served his purpose. If you want to say the things that Iger did, he did do some good things, had some acquisitions, but I think his comeback, when people were really excited about him coming back, I remember being on this show being like, he's not going to change that much. A lot of the stuff that was happening under Chapek was stuff he wanted done because he was head of the board. I mean, he was chairman of the board when Chapek was CEO. Never give up his office, all these things. And I think also the worry out there that people have on a perception is that Iger is going to be always in the shadows, chiming in, maybe he's going to, people still think he's going to step back into the CEO position. And that's not a great thing for your company if it feels like you can never get rid of a CEO. And so this one, and especially like what was interesting is during the earnings call, as Bob Iger started talking more, that stock price kept going down. And it dropped like 7%. And part of me, and then you like, I wonder how much of this was already planned or how much of this was, okay, like we need to move on here. Like, because if not, you're just going to be in limbo for this whole year about like this transition and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And at some point, if Josh is the CEO, just give him the reins and let him go.
Yeah.
And I think this may be a very quiet, like, I wouldn't say a firing, but it's like, okay, Bob, time to exit stage left. Time to, ride off into the sunset, go do whatever you're going to do afterward. I'm sure he's going to probably buy some sports team or something and do whatever. But I think you want to rid yourselves as quickly as you can of the shadow of him, and really like how much of that will, and that's a big question, with Iger still around, like is DeMauro willing to take some shots here, like make some big changes? He did say in that ABC interview they did last night, he's going to be a risk taker.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just depends on what context.
It depends on what type of risk you're taking.
Yeah.
If the risk is going against some of the things Bob Iger did, which would be very interesting, dynamic, if he does some stuff that Iger would not have done or reverses some stuff that Iger did, and he's still this advisory role, that's going to be some interesting dynamics.
Yeah, true.
So that might be a little conspiratorial. I'm not going to say this is exactly what happened here, but some of the stuff lately with Iger has been, even during the earnings call, he was like kind of being like, well, I think the acquisition of Fox was ahead of its time and all these things like that. So he's, again, a lot of stuff Iger has done recently has been more, in my opinion, to sort of strengthen his own image and not necessarily what's best for like Disney itself.
Yeah.
And I think, somebody fresh coming in with a different perspective, maybe he's going to change some stuff, maybe he won't. I think the biggest fear you have about, DeMauro is he's going to be an Iger 2.0 and nothing different's going to be there. But,
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, as you mentioned already, it's like Bob Iger has been around for 21 years? He's been
something like
CEO
that.
or in something. So he's been around in some capacity, whether it's an advisor or, with the Chapek era, he was still around for 21 years. So, it'll be very interesting to see the direction that DeMauro takes everything without Bob Iger being there, because I remember Eisner, and I remember the Eisner era and all that stuff that happened and what he was able to accomplish. So I'm glad to see a new person coming in. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and I'd say the whole time, I think outside blood would have been best. But James Gorman said, now, this is what he said. They interviewed hundreds of candidates from outside the company, inside the company, and DeMauro ended up winning over everybody, and he was the one they wanted to go with. Mm-hmm. So he has a shot here. Now, I think there's some challenges that require some different perspectives, because Disney's not in a position that they've been in historically. If you look at the movie side, is very hit and miss. Animation side, outside of the sequels, really not much has hit. The parks have way more competition than they ever have with Universal. They've been making more money, but there's a lot of, and then you throw in streaming on top of it as well. So it's a different atmosphere. He mentioned things about using AI to not replace creativity. He was very adamant about that, about how it could help with, streamlining things, which I think every movie studio is going to do that. So he, somebody younger coming in that has a different perspective on the landscape potentially is probably good. And we'll see. Again, a lot of Josh, we just don't know. I couldn't tell you, who knows how he is. The employees at Disney love him. I can tell you that much. I've been to multiple ones, and everyone said for a get-go they thought it was going to be him the whole time. So I think from a cast member and employee standpoint, they do like Josh. And I've said this repeatedly. One of the strongest things about him at this point is we have no clue about his politics.
Yeah.
And if Disney's wanting to reset a bit, which they have been. I mean, Iger even said as much. They want to get out of this cultural stuff. They've kind of been in this soft reset mode. Mm-hmm. But him coming in, not having any political ties, or, I'm sure he has his own politics, but at least publicly hasn't said anything, does give you the potential to have sort of a fresh start and then see what type of changes and things that he implements. I would imagine you're coming in new. You want to start making changes, I would assume.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. Now, I think if Dana Walden was appointed CEO, that would have came with a lot of political baggage. Because it's very well known she's like really good friends with Kamala Harris. She came from Fox News.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot more with her that I think would have been viewed through a different lens versus Josh. So, like I said, we'll see what he does. I think he has a decent shot here. Seeing, maybe he'll turn out to be great. Maybe he'll be terrible. But at this point, all you can do is sit there and say, okay, here's your shot. Show us what you're able to do. And how forward-thinking are you really? I mean, he talks about having a vision, what he wants to do, and I'm sure he's going to give some sort of presentation at the shareholder meeting as kind of his, inaugural message as the CEO, and see if he hits the ground running or not. And I think from that perspective, I find it very, very interesting, given that Bob Iger's still going to be around, and what types of things does Josh start doing?
Yeah. Or
does he wait until or does he wait? Like till Bob's completely gone. Supposedly he's going to be gone at the end of 2026. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we also learned about his salary.
We did find that out.
Real quick, we could just mention that. Basically,
he's going to be really hurting, guys.
Not so much.
He's going to be really scraping the bottom of the barrel with this new role.
So with the base salary, incentive awards,
stock
long-term incentive awards, stocks. Basically, he'll be bringing in about $38 million.
Listen, it's tough sledding out there. Well, Dana Walton's not that far behind. I think her total package is like $28 million.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, it's tough out there being the CEO.
It's a big job. Being the CEO of Disney is insanely stressful. I'm sure. And so but the risks will come with rewards,
Well, and people usually, it's an easy thing to look at CEOs and be like, oh, they make so much money compared to cast members. And it's true. But at the same time, it is a huge responsibility, because if you mess things up, you mess things up for everybody. And if you do things well, it helps things out. So, it has a lot of responsibility with it. You're putting out fires constantly. If you say something weird or wrong, it can cost you money in the stock market. So, listen, you're worth what you can get. I say this in sports as well. Like, athletes are overpaid. Probably, but hey, you get what you can get. If you can negotiate that salary, then good on you to do it.
Well, and it's also too, again, not to talk about too much about money stuff, but basketball players, NBA basketball players get paid a lot because people go watch them, people pay to see them, and it's very unique to have someone that can be in the NBA as first off, and not everybody can be CEO of a Fortune 20 company.
For sure. You're talking a very specific skill set.
Yeah. So, it makes sense that this would be heavily compensated.
For instance, would I like to make $38 million a year? Sure. Would I like to be CEO of Disney? No. Would not.
Nope.
I would not want that. So, that's just going to be with any major company like that. Your CEO is going to be compensated well. And I think Iger, he was making in the 40 millions, I think.
He had 45 in 2025, 41 in 2024, and then when he came back in 23 for part of the year, it was 31.
Okay.
So
yeah, most of that too with CEOs. I think Diamaro's base salary is like 2.5 million, and all the other stuff's incentives and stock options and things like that. So that's usually how CEOs are compensated. But
yes,
that's probably pretty standard of what he's going to make there. But congrats to him. Hope he does a great job. I hope to see some positive changes. So a lot of times these guys, when they get in these positions, you never know what strengths they actually have. But having somebody who knows the parks, and I think he does, from everything I've heard, he's very passionate about certain things. He talked about how he wants to bring more Muppets into the parks, which I think a lot of the fan base would like. So I wouldn't be surprised if right off the bat he does some things that will make the parks fan base happy, because that's going to be your lowest hanging fruit you can do.
Yeah.
You can get, that's the group of people that know you have a connection with them. I think that's what you do first, because it's also the biggest moneymaker of the company, which is why he got this job.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what, with the, see what changes happen with movies and TV and things like that. But Bruce Vaughn, head of Imagineering, had really good things to say about him, said he was a great leader and visionary for Imagineering.
I guess that's good, I guess.
Well, and that Wall Street Journal article that came out a couple weeks ago, which I kind of felt the entire time was a
This is a fluff piece.
Well, was a PR move by tomorrow's team potentially because it made him look very good.
Yeah.
It really threw Chapek under the bus. It didn't make Iger look the best because they talked about under Iger how they lost faith in like Imagineering and things of that nature. But they talked about in there, he's the one that brought Bruce Vaughn back into Imagineering and trying to rehab it. So,
yeah.
You got a lot of the stuff going on in the parks, all this construction going on. So I understand why they gave it to him if you're going to go internal, and he has a potential to do something here. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I don't know if I'd say I'm excited.
I'm excited to see
intrigued.
the changes. It'll be different, and I'm excited to see different. I guess we shall see.
We shall see. But that's going to be really all the news we have because that was the biggest piece of news out there right now. But we are going to talk about the Disney Destiny.
Yeah.
And this is a pre-recorded segment with Jamie and Kendra and Lauren and Kyndal from Zip Travel, which, by the way, if you look and book a trip, vacationwithzip.com, go check that out. But that's what is going to play right here. So we're going to put that segment here.
Okay, I have Kyndal, Lauren, and Kendra from Zip Travel. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. We're here to talk about Disney Destiny, which is the latest Disney Cruise Line ship that has come about. And you guys went on your own little sailing of Disney Destiny. And just right off the bat, was it good? Did you like it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was amazing.
Good.
It was.
So before we get started with talking about the cruise, Kendra, do you want to talk about the stuff that you guys have going on?
So later on in the show, we're going to give you a full rundown and some really exciting offers that you can use to book your next Disney vacation. But we're doing a giveaway.
Yay.
And it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. I love money. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so just real quick, the basics. When did y'all sell out? How many days? What kind of room were you in? Stuff like that.
So really, in my opinion, the only room I can sail on a cruise is a room with a balcony. Mm-hmm. So Disney calls them veranda rooms because we're fancy when we get on a Disney cruise ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a family ocean view stateroom, but it was a little bit different. Lauren, what was the category?
It was just the ocean view stateroom with veranda.
But we had an extended balcony.
So it wasn't it was not an extended balcony. So when I called, I booked this. When I called, I talked to the guy and got an idea, and he found this room. It's not an official extended balcony. It's a regular balcony room, but because of the location on the ship, it was right next to the ones with the extended balcony. So half of our balcony was a little bit longer than the other half. So the other half, so they couldn't call it an official extended balcony and charge the price, but we got a little bit of extra balcony because of the way it was located. If that makes sense.
Ooh, that's like a trick.
For the price of just a regular balcony.
So, okay.
Perks of booking with a travel agent because we know to do those things.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there only one or I guess two of those rooms in the whole thing?
There's a couple.
There's a couple.
On different decks.
Yeah, and they're on both sides of the ship too.
Okay.
So yeah, there's not a ton of them by any means.
Okay. And so it was just y'all together, no kids, no husbands, no family, right?
Correct. Yes, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Only adults.
Okay. And I know you guys have sailed on other ships and everything. So how does this one compare to those? Is it very similar? Is there anything different that you liked or didn't like?
There are some similarities to each of them, all the other Disney ships, but there's also many differences.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally that Disney Destiny has been my favorite ship, maybe because it is different because of its differences, but there are definitely things that I did like from the older ships that I wish they had carried over.
Okay.
For instance, the adult space is more open on the Disney Destiny like it is on the Wish. And the Treasure. I haven't been on the Treasure, but I believe it's that way on the Treasure as well.
It's the same.
And so I like on the Disney Dream and Fantasy that they kind of keep the adult sections kind of off in their own section.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gives the more privacy. And when you're trying to sell to adults, that is very appealing to them. They can kind of go in areas where there won't be as many kids around. So I like that about those ships. But in these ships, it's a lot more open. The adult spaces, they have adult spaces, but they're just more open.
Okay.
However, the things that I liked about it was just the theming in general. I loved the theming. I loved the more, the other ships are like the Wish, for instance, is very elegant. And this was more of a modern or contemporary and more like a masculine feel, I guess.
Okay.
With bolder colors and things like that. So I really liked that aspect, and just having the heroes versus villains theme of the whole ship, that was really cool for me. So I really enjoyed it.
I think this is a cruise ship that my son would love. The hero.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I was talking to Jared about that. I was like, yeah. So I guess to say, Lauren, does your son, would he love it?
I think he would. So he's only been on the Dream, and he loves the Dream. But he loves the kids club. Like, he loves the Dream. But when I was walking around on this ship, I was like, oh my gosh, he would love. I mean, Black Panther is in the, like, when you walk on the ship, there's a huge statue of Black Panther in there. There's Marvel like everywhere, superheroes, villains. I think he would actually, I mean, he would love it on this ship. I'm taking him on the Wish soon, and I'm excited for him to see one of the new ships and the new kids club. But I think I would love to get him on this one, because I think he would really enjoy it.
That's awesome. I mean, it's still good for girls too. I mean, it's Disney. Okay.
Yes, and for somebody who knows nothing about Marvel, and please, audience, don't crucify me, but like, I have never seen a Marvel movie, and it's not because
Kendra.
It's just, I know, I just have never. Now, my oldest loves Marvel, absolutely loves it, and that's something that she got into with my sisters, who were her aunts, so they always took her, and I just never got into it. But I'm going to say I absolutely love this ship. I've been on all of the other Disney cruise line ships, and I love this ship because of the special experiences and the interactions you get with characters that you do not get on any of the other ships.
Okay, well, let's go into that then. Let's talk about some of the experiences you can have on the ship. So, heroes and villains theme, like, I've never been on a Disney cruise, so I am not familiar with everything that goes along with it. So, what kind of characters can you see out in the ship, kind of like that you can meet or see walking around? Like, I think that would be something that I would be interested in.
So you get your standard characters, right? Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, Pluto. You get your standard. And then you also have Princess Gathering or Royal Gathering, where you will get 4 princesses. And those have to be booked ahead of time. But you get Loki, and you get Cruella de Vil, and we'll talk about that, some more experiences in a minute, but you just get characters that are one-off that you don't see. And Loki has a whole show, like the whole atrium turned green, and I know nothing about Loki, but they turned the whole, like, they have special lighting in the grand foyer and everything, or grand atrium, and the way they have, like, the background of the ship colors on the ceiling and the walls, they can change the colors with the different villains or heroes that come through. It was really neat. And again, I know nothing about Loki, but I do know the music, and they had his music playing, and he was up taking pictures, and he had his little show, because on these newer ships, like the Wish, the Treasure, and now the Destiny, they have this pretty large stage in the grand atrium. I call it foyer, but it's the atrium. It's the main part of the ship. And they have this stage now, and they're really utilizing it, I feel like, on this ship more so than they have on the Wish or on the Treasure, in my opinion.
Okay. And
so there's always some sort of hero or villain show going on this stage. And then whatever show that they have there, they bring those characters, and they have like the meet and greets, and it's really neat. I was very impressed by that.
And it's organized. I mean, like, this is just a technical question, but is it organized, and like people aren't overrun, like having to stand in really long lines, or does it get long?
Well, lines are, I mean, you would have to expect lines. It's Disney.
Yeah.
But as far as organized, there's it is organized, and there's only so many people that can be on that ship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I will say with my kids that I've been on to obviously to Disney World and Disney Cruise, and my daughter loves characters and loves meeting them and wants to stand in every line to meet characters she's never even doesn't even know who they are. And when I took her on her last cruise, we literally hopped from line to line and just, I mean, we met at one point. They had characters all throughout the atrium. It's like pirate nights. They're all dressed up in their pirate gear. And we met probably 5 or 6 characters back to back, just going from line to line. They just do a really good job of like, you have the schedule on the app, knowing what characters and where they're going to be. And usually if you get in line within like, they start the line like a couple, 15, like 30 minutes before, 15, 30 minutes, and people will line up early. But we would just hop in line sometimes like right when it starts. And as long as you get in line when they started, they'll cut it off at some point. But they're very organized. And they're all usually are near each other. So they stagger the times they meet. So like my daughter absolutely loves it. She literally her favorite thing is to hop from line to line for each character. They do a very good job with that.
I do like that. I feel like it runs smoothly. Like that way you just get, like you said, get more for a little amount of time. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about shows. What kind of shows do they have on the ship?
Oh, Lauren, I'm gonna let you take this one since it's your favorite.
So they have this is now my favorite one. They have Hercules.
Ooh.
This is the new one brought on this ship, and it was incredible. So one of my favorite things about Disney cruises compared to other cruise lines is the shows at night. They're basically Broadway. And I love Broadway. I love everything about it. And it is Broadway tier, just as good talent as you would get in New York, in my opinion, or close to it. And it was, it's basically the movie. I came home and watched the movie with my kids right when we got home, and my kids loved it. And they basically copied the movie exactly. The music was incredible. I mean, my favorites always, they have Beauty and the Beast on the Dream, and that's always been one of my favorites on a Disney cruise. This one, I think, took over my favorite, number one, because it was so incredible. And I would see it again if I could in a split second.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Nice. And is that the only one they have on the ship, or do they rotate, or?
They usually have 3 on each ship. So, and some ships have the same, like the Wish has, so both the Wish and Destiny they have one called Seize the Adventure with Mickey and Friends. And so that was the first one on the ship. And that one's more of it's a original one. They created that one. And it's on, a couple different ships. And then on this one, they also have Frozen, which Frozen was really good too. My daughter would absolutely love that one. And they also have that one, I think, on the Fantasy. So some of them, they double dip. And then most, like the newer ships, have one specific for the ship. So this one was Hercules. I think with the Wish, it's the Little Mermaid is only on the Wish. And so they usually have, depending on the number, but usually they have about 3 shows for each ship.
I think the Treasure has Moana.
Yes.
And where is Tangled?
That's in the Magic.
The Magic, yeah. So they're all, it's all Disney, but it's it's Broadway. It's Broadway, but on Disney Cruise Line.
I've heard that they're very well done. So that's really cool. I really like that to do that. So shows, what about the other like extra stuff? Like, do they have Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique on the ship?
They do.
Okay. Yes. And so stuff like that, you can do like massages, like the spas and stuff. Did you all get to experience that?
Absolutely.
How was that?
We did.
We didn't have any kids. Of course we.
All right. So tell me about that.
So our best recommendation is when you get on the ship, if you're on there with kiddos, have your husband or significant other or friend or grandparent, whoever is with you that is an adult, have the adult take the kids up to the top while there is a spa raffle going on. And you go to the spa raffle. Even if you don't win anything out of the drawing, they always give some sort of a discount for booking that day with a special code because you went to the spa raffle. And we all 3 did that. And Lauren and Kendall had their massages that night like the first night, and I had my massage the next morning because I got up and wanted to take pictures of the ship, and I wanted to get up really early before the whole ship got up.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my massage the next morning, but they also utilized the Tangled salon and had their nails done.
Ooh,
Yes.
fancy.
Yes, my one thing I've always wanted to do on the newer show is I love Rapunzel. It's my favorite princess.
Mm-hmm.
It's my daughter's favorite, and we love the movie Tangled. So I've always wanted to visit to do the Tangled salon and get my nails done. So we did. We got pedicures on the. I don't know if it was the last night or the second to last night, but we got pedicures there. We did the massage the first night. And it was incredible. I'm taking when we go on the Wish, I'm going to take my daughter to go. They will do, you can't book it ahead of time with the nails because it's 18 and older ahead of time. But I did talk to the lady there when we were getting nails done, and they will paint the nails for, I think, starting at 3 or 4 years old. I think 3 years old, they said. Okay. They'll paint their nails. So I was going to bring my daughter in there when we go because I think she would love it. But
oh yeah,
it was the detail in that salon is incredible. Like we were just sitting there, and it's just, they did a very good job with the theming in there.
I have seen pictures, so I was very impressed, and I was like, I have to see this. So it looks great, but
it's beautiful. And then like on the opposite side of the ship is Hook's Barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
And so for men who want a shave, like the traditional, where they lather you up and shave, or if you want a haircut with a very upscale whiskey bourbon type experience, that's what Hooks provides. It's Hooks, right? Am I saying that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so, but then I had a moment of, maybe I didn't say that right.
And I think as a girl, I think they do schedule female haircuts in there too.
They do.
Yeah, they'll do hair there for girls too. They also do hair in the Tangled salon, but I think when they get overbooked over there, they'll do it in the Hooks Barbery.
Okay, very cool. Okay, let's talk about the pools and the slides and stuff. How many? Is there a lot of that opportunities to be able to like swim? Because my kids would just want to get in the pool. So.
Yes, there are. And I feel like these newer ships have done a very good job of having smaller pools, but more of them, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like if your child has sensory issues and maybe the larger area with the multi-pools and the big movie screen, the funnel, they call it funnel vision.
Yes.
If that area is too loud, there is an area that is off back behind it and up a deck or two, and it's a very quiet pool area. Kids are allowed there,
okay,
but a lot of adults will retreat there with older children that cannot get into the adult only area. And then of course you have your itty bitty splash pad, and you have which is precious, it's the Toy Story area. And then it also has a little pool back there, and then a slide for, a little bit older children. Okay. And then you have your Mickey coaster, which is, the whole ship, essentially. Lauren and Kendall did that one.
We did.
I sat that one out.
Did you?
It was fun.
Yeah, nice.
I like it a lot. It's very themed well, like it's very cute. It was a lot. And we did it on when the ship was, I think it was when we were at Castaway Key, and so we were still on the ship, and we try to time it, because when you do it on a day at sea, it does get kind of very crowded because everybody's on the boat. That's when everybody's trying to do it. So there's a longer line. So we did it when we knew people would be off the boat, and so we there was barely any line, and I think we rode it like 2 or 3 times, like back to back, because there was like nobody in line to do it, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice. That sounds fun. Let's talk about kids clubs. How many are there, and what's the theme and all of that stuff?
So we're a big fan of the kids club over here. My son is obsessed with a kids club. When we went on the Dream last time, there was literally one day that he wouldn't leave, and I had to force him to go eat, because he would live in there if he could. Aww. But, I will say the kids, he's been on the Dream. He loves it there. They have done a really good job on these newer ships with the kids clubs. I think they have really, the original ships are great, but they've really upped the theming of them and just everything that's like just the fun, like everything that's in there.
Slide.
Yeah, they've added a slide to go into the kids club from the main atrium. I just feel like they've really increased the enjoyment for kids, in my opinion. I think my kids are going to love it when we go. But they have different areas. They have a princess area. They've got a whole Star Wars room. They've got a Marvel area where there's games and the Marvel character, like Spider-Man comes and visits and does all of that. They have set up games throughout the day. Like there's a whole schedule for the kids club on each of the ships. And so they have different things they'll do, different activities. They have characters coming in constantly. It is, I mean, like both of my daughter loves it. My son, like I can't get them out of there. They absolutely love it.
That's awesome.
So we're big cruise fans because of it right now.
Right.
And to talk about like the teen club, who my daughter just graduated from, she's no longer, she's 18 now, so she can't do it, but she loved it and still has friends from the last cruise that they're all Instagram buddies.
Aw.
And so they really, she grew up doing the kids club as well and loved the kids club. And then of course graduated the teen club, and the teens have their own pool. They have their own areas.
Wow.
And you really, if you don't want to see your teenager, you really don't have to. And there is a type of a curfew. And we always have the rule of you don't walk back at a certain time by yourself. You have to let us know where you are, that kind of stuff. And that's safety in general. And it doesn't matter if it's Disney, if it's whatever. And Disney is a very safe cruise line. That's just mama being protective. And you have to follow the rules. If you want to, if you want to act like an adult, you have to follow these rules.
Sure.
So especially like really late at night, I did not want her walking back to the cabin by herself. And Kendall's daughter and my daughter are very close in age. And so the last cruise we all went on together, they would, walk each other back because we were all staying in the same basically row of cabins on the ship.
Oh, that's nice.
So, and the teens love it. And they also have like a singles, like mingle situation. And then it's just, it's something for everybody. Disney really has thought about each age group that moves on the ship. And it's very thoughtful, and the way activities are planned. And I've never known anybody to leave a Disney cruise and said, well, that was terrible. I've never heard anybody say that.
How does that work for the, there's no beepers or anything. Like, do you have just like they text you?
There's a chat feature in the ACL app.
Okay. I figured. I was like,
you don't need to pay for internet for it. It comes free with the Wi-Fi that's included on the ship.
Okay.
And so you can chat with them. And then also with the last ship, the last few ones, we've been able to iMessage with the free Wi-Fi.
Ooh.
So you can just text in regular text if they've got an iPhone.
That's great. I like that. Since we're talking about the app, what kind of things can you do with the app? Like, can you, book excursions, and can you obviously
you can book excursions on the DCL app. You can book your dining to like the adults only restaurants. You can book massages. You can book your some of the from the Tangled. You can book some of those things on there beforehand. I think there, like Lauren said, there's an age restriction. You have to be 18 or older to be able to do that.
Okay.
You can see, once you're on board, you can see obviously your schedule, like what's going to be going on that day and your daily activities that are going to be happening on the ship.
Okay.
You can see your photos there. If you get a photo package.
Yeah, I mean, the app is basically the same thing as like when you're in Disney World with your MDE, your account, like the MDE app. So you're basically like, I was on it, like every night I get on it and see because they've got trivias throughout the day. They've got all these experiences. These are all included. Like you don't have to pay for any of that kind of stuff. So they have this whole schedule of activities that are included with your cruise that you can go to. Some of are adult only. They've got different shows. That's where they have the schedule of the Broadway shows and other things that they offer. It has your dining, like where you're going to eat that night, because Disney does a rotational dining. So there's 3 main dining rooms you go to. So the app will tell you where you're going to go. And it has like, so I mean, it's similar to when you're at Disney World, you are on your app a lot because you're, looking at the schedule. Now it's not as stressful because you're not having to like book lightning lanes or anything like that.
Right.
But it is like, I was, checking it constantly. Okay, what's the next thing we can go to, and where are we, and so it's very detailed, and it's very helpful to be in.
And I love the feature, like the night before, we would all be on the app and you could heart the activity you wanted to participate in the next day. And if, as long as you have your push notifications enabled, it will send you a little reminder. Hey, in 5 minutes, this is starting here.
Okay.
And I liked that because I need reminders constantly.
Yeah. Yes. Honestly, it sounds like there's just so much to do on the ship alone. It's like, I would love to have an app to help keep me track of that.
Yes.
That sounds awesome. Let's talk about excursions like off the ship. What's available? What did you guys get to do anything? Where do you port out at the islands, all that stuff?
So this particular cruise, we only went to Castaway Cay, which is Disney's island, and Lighthouse Point, which is also Disney's island. And there are plenty of opportunities to have excursions with snorkeling, and I do know that they do some parasailing, and there's all different, you can rent bicycles and strollers and all of the things. We chose to just walk our happy little selves and sit on the beach.
That sounds great.
The good thing about the private islands is you don't have to book like excursions. Like when you're when you're going to like Nassau or somewhere, you might feel like, you want to book somewhere because you have to want to go anywhere in the city, in that city, in that port. But with the private islands, you just walk off and you're on the beach. So you really don't have to book anything. You can just enjoy. They've got a kids club at both private islands. So your kids can go and they offer lunch at them. They have activities planned there and they can go do that. They've got an adults only area at each private island that you can go sit at, which is what we did. The food is also still included like it is on the ship.
Wow.
So it's, to me, the private islands are definitely more of that all-inclusive feel that you get on the ship.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that. Do you guys ever do like the cabanas? Don't you can't like the right ones?
The only thing with the cabanas, they're amazing, but unless you're staying in concierge, it's very difficult to get one.
Oh, do they book up really early?
They do, and there's so few of them. So usually the concierge clients will be the ones that get those.
Ah, that makes sense.
And they go very fast. Like they will go the minute that they open. And they usually go that day. I haven't, in all of my years of doing this, see one linger past day one that they open. Okay. But I want to talk about a few excursions we didn't do on this cruise, but Kendall, Lauren, and I have also done the European cruise with Disney and on the Disney Dream. And we booked quite a few excursions through Disney Cruise Line, and it's a seamless process. It's amazing. And the day that we went to Mount Vesuvius? No, we didn't go to Mount Vesuvius. Where did we go, Kendall? Pompeii. We went to Pompeii. And our excursion was running very, very far, but like we were very late getting back to the ship. And because it was an actual one that we booked through Disney, I mean, that cruise ship waited on us. We were the last ones to board the ship.
Ooh, whoops.
Yes. Yeah.
It was very nerve-wracking.
It was, and we had all bought, do you remember we had bought limoncello that day, and we had to check our limoncello, and like I'm freaking out. They had actually gone to our table. Lauren, were y'all already at dinner? Y'all were already at dinner,
yeah,
right?
We were there. We didn't go on this excursion. We did something else, and we were sitting at dinner, and they weren't there yet. And they actually came to our table and were like, "Have you guys seen Kendra and Kendall?" And like named all. And we were like, "Nope, they're still at their excursion." And we said they did this excursion. They're like, "Okay, we're waiting for them." So that they were trying to find them for sure.
Wow.
They waited on us, and it was. I mean, it was a Disney excursion. I think they tried to pack too much in, and we were running late from something. I don't know if we got I really don't know. I don't know if they tried to pack too much into that excursion or what, but I'm very grateful that we had booked through Disney because that ship waited on us.
So if you had not booked through Disney, it was just wherever you reported out, some kind of random activity, they would have just left without you.
That's right.
That's policy.
Dang.
That is cruise policy across the board because there are certain things that they have to get out of there.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
And there's
we still do third party. Like we did that in Rome. Like we did a third party because it was price wise, and we got to do more of what we wanted to do. But we always suggest if you do a third party, like give yourself plenty, like whatever you're doing, always say, I got to be on the ship hours before the ship leaves. So so that you are running late, you do have a little bit of leeway.
You don't want to have a huge cushion.
Last minute with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It also needs to be noted, I think, that because we did travel with a large group on the Dream, we were able to link all of our reservations and book these things together. And so when you're traveling with families or big parties, I think that's, good to know as well, just that they can get things together. And there were a few of them that we didn't have all of our spots for, but they worked with us and they were able to get everybody on it when we worked with them. And so that was another benefit of working with Disney too. They did try to fit us all into these excursions and things like that. So
well, that's good. That actually leads me to another question about booking the excursions and stuff before the cruise. What's the timeline look like? Like how far ahead of the cruise can you start booking these things? And I know it may depend on like your status. I don't know. Does it? I don't know. Like if you're platinum or whatever.
It depends on your status.
Okay.
And that's another, another benefit of having a travel agent. We'll remind you when those things are getting ready to be closed, and we can also go in there and help book those for you. But yeah, there's like a certain timeline for each castaway club area or tier that you would book your excursions.
But you can still book after you get on the ship?
You can if there's still availability.
Availability, right. Okay. All right.
I will say, going with that, so like for example, me and my kids, we did more of a last minute cruise last year, and we were way past our booking window. And I went in and tried to grab a few things, but like I was able to grab like nursery and stuff like that. But the Royal Gathering, that's one of the ones, it's different from the other bookings. So with the regular other bookings, there is like a tier with the Castaway, like Kendall mentioned. And I want to say like, it's the first one is Pearl, then it goes to our concierge is first, then Pearl, then Platinum, then Gold and Silver. I want to say that the Silver is like 45 days. I may be wrong, but I will say, so like there's a whole, okay, no, it's 75. I knew it was a 5. So I just looked it up. It's 123 days for Pearl, Platinum's 120, Gold is 105, Silver's 90, and then first time guests are 75. So if it's your very first cruise. And once you've been on one cruise, you're officially Silver. So it's only one cruise that you're a first time guest. But so that's kind of like the system. But Royal Gathering is different because it is 30 days before for every single cruise. Okay. And they all the excursions, everything opens up at midnight Eastern time on the day of your booking. Okay. And so I will say for our cruise that we did October, we were past even the Royal Gathering. Like we were past the 30 days. We booked it so last minute. And so my daughter, I really wanted to get it for her. So when we got on the ship, I went straight to guest services and said, hey, is there any way I can get on a wait list or whatever? And so they have a wait list option and they put us on it. And I was notified within a day that she got it for the last day at sea. Nice. And so they're pretty, and I will say every time I've done that, I have gotten it. Now it's not a guarantee, obviously, and they put you on a wait, but like every time we did that for our adult dining on this Destiny cruise, we booked it later, so we weren't able to get Palo that we wanted. And so there's a dining, they basically tell you where to go when you get on the ship, and it's for any dining modifications you want to make. And if you can make, modifications to your rotational dining that's included, like where you want to eat each restaurant, you could see if you want to change it around. You could ask about the adult dining, that kind of stuff. And so we wanted to get Palo. So we went straight to that line when we got on the ship, and they put us, basically we told them we either wanted it. We gave them a couple different options when we wanted it. And basically they put us on a list, and then our app just notified us and said, hey, you got dinner on this night. So we didn't have to go back. We didn't have to do anything else. We just waited, and the app.
Nice.
So that is an option if you're booking a last minute cruise, if you're not able to get the things you want ahead of time.
Okay.
You can also request to get an earlier dining. Like sometimes there won't be any early dining when you're booking your cruise. We have that happen a lot because it books up really quickly. And so you kind of have to get on the ship with your like late dining. You can also request when you get on to get on a waiting list to be moved to the first dining.
Okay. Okay.
You can request that ahead of time too. That's the one thing you can request ahead of time is to get on a wait list for the earlier dining, because there's 5:45. It's usually around 5:45 and like 8:15. And so people with young kids, they usually want that earlier dining, so it books up quicker. But that is the one wait list you can request even before you get on the ship. And I have many times gotten it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll say when there were 18 of us that went to Europe together, we booked late and they had us on late dining, but we had multiple children in the group. We had a couple of medical, like my father's diabetic. So we, also notated that, and they put us to first dining.
Okay.
They were very, very accommodating. And that was 18 of us. That was a lot of us.
Jeez.
So Disney is very accommodating, and they will do everything they can to make your first request happen.
I love that. Well, speaking of dining, tell me about all the restaurants and all the dining opportunities.
Lauren, you should start with the Lion King, since that was your absolute favorite.
Yeah. So on the Destiny, I will say that the newer ships, that's one of my things that I like better on their newer ship versus, I think the Magic is similar. Some of the older ships are similar to it, but they have the dining is very well themed versus like the Dream or Fantasy, where it's more of like there's a Princess Royal Gathering room where it's just most of them are just kind of regular, and they have the Animator's Palette, which is a little bit more themed, but the newer ships have a like dinner show one. So on the Destiny, it was a Lion King, and it was incredible. The music was incredible. They perform while you're eating. They sing some of the songs from the movie, and they kind of space it out. So it's not like you're not sitting at a dinner table trying to talk while there's music playing the entire time. They'll come out and sing like one or two songs, then they'll go back and you'll keep eating, then they'll come back out. And it's, also Broadway tier music, like very good. And then I'm more of a unique eater versus Kendall and Kendra. I will try everything. I'm not afraid to try things. And so this was more African style food, and I really liked it. It was different. I really enjoyed, there was some really good, the cool thing about cruises, and if you go with me, you will learn quickly that I like to order multiple things because it's all included. And so I would rather order like 2 or 3 dinners and try everything and not eat it all. So I had like 2 different plates. I had like a chicken and a shrimp. That was really good. You get dessert. And then there's always an appetizer. So with cruising, and you can you can order whatever you want, which is awesome. But
awesome.
That restaurant was
and if
cool.
you're not quite as adventurous as Lauren is, don't stress. There is always like a meat and baked potato item, like a steak and a baked potato. And that is actually what I ended up getting that night. And it happened to be one of my favorite steaks on the cruise. The way they had it seasoned and things, it was really delicious. But I cannot eat a lot of spicy food. Really, like anything with heat at all, I just can't do. I don't know what it is, but I can't do it. So I'm always like, Lauren, Kyndal, is this spicy? And then they'll be like, it's gonna be spicy for you.
Yeah, you can't trust me because I'm like, oh, it's not spicy, and it's still spicy.
That's funny. What other places are like? How does the dining work? You said 5:45 and 8 o'clock.
8:15, 5:45 and 8:15. They could adjust that though. They do give themselves leeway to adjust that if they need to.
Okay.
But usually it's 5:45 and 8:15.
Okay. And you mentioned Palo. Is that on that ship too?
The adult only dining.
Okay.
And that is by reservation.
Every ship, I think.
Okay.
Yes, Palo is on every ship, and it is delicious.
Yeah.
It's absolutely delicious.
It's our favorite.
It's not, I've heard about it.
It is an extra charge unless you are platinum or higher on the Castaway Club levels.
And then it's free?
And then it's free.
Oh, dang. Okay.
One time, yeah. One visit is free.
One time. Yeah, one visit is free. Yes.
You can't just go every night. I get it.
No.
Each ship has like 3 different main dining, and they call it rotational dining. It's one of the only cruise lines that offers this, because in other cruise lines, you only have one main dining room you go to each night. all included. But with Disney, they have 3 different ones, and they're all differently themed. So on this one, it had the Lion King show, it had the Marvel restaurant, and then it has 1923 as more of a typical restaurant. The food's all different in each one, except for Pirate Night. They have Pirate Night. The menu's the same across the board at each of the restaurants, but and you rotate each night, like where you're going. And then the adult dining that's an extra charge, like we said, and you would book those reservations ahead of time, and you could book it for one of your dinners in place of the main dining that you would do, or they have brunch as an option, like your day at sea and stuff like that for Palo. So there are other options if you don't want to miss your dinners. We go on the Wish, I don't want to miss Frozen. They have a Frozen restaurant on that ship, and my daughter really love that, so I know I don't want to miss that one. And you won't know, unfortunately, with making the reservations for Palo, you won't know ahead of time where you're going to eat each night until you get on the ship. Oh, and so you can. But you can get, so like one of the things we did, like we're going on the Wish, usually Pirate Night is the 3rd night on a 4-night cruise. And so since that's pretty much the same, we know that menu doesn't change. And that's usually the restaurant you're going to hit twice when they do Pirate Night. It's whatever, because you'll have to, with a 4-night, you have to hit one restaurant twice. So we went ahead and booked Palo for that night. But there was a time where I booked Palo and we had to get on the ship and we had to move it because it was during one of the dinners that we didn't want to miss. And they will usually, they will work with you. So like if you book it, just, you just grab it and then you get on the ship, really, wait a second, I don't want to miss, Frozen, or I don't want to miss this other meal. Go to that dining line that I, talked about, and they will work with you to try and move it for you.
Okay. Well,
there are also other specialty like restaurants too, and they vary on ship, but there's like a Remy's, and there's also on Shantae. So they have different ones that you outside of Palo that are the same. Like you have to book ahead of time. They're an extra cost.
Okay.
And I will say on Shantae and Remy, they have a strict policy, dress code policy. Because when we did, me and my husband did Remy, he had to borrow their pants because he didn't have any dress pants. Oh, yeah. He was so mad at me. So we did not do Remy again because he was so upset with me that I had booked that. And he had to use the Disney Cruise Line dress pants.
That's funny. At least they had some for you.
They do. I mean, they'll accommodate. And the That's thing, great. The same with women. I mean, like it's a very strict policy. Palo, they have a dress code, but it's not as strict as Enchante and Remy.
Okay. Tell me about the I guess I call it quick service dining, like the stuff that's not dinner.
So they have a couple of different options. You have the Festival of Foods, which we happen to love. That is where you walk up and there is a Mexican area. There is pizza. There is barbecue. And then there's the grill. So you have hot dogs and hamburgers. And then they also have Marcelli Market, which is your buffet type style. Those are open for breakfast and for lunch, and they close intermittently to reset for things. But the Festival of Foods pretty much opens at like 10:30, 11 o'clock and stays open till the pizza stays open till midnight.
Okay. You can always get pizza.
And other ones close around 6, and then they expect you to kind of take over dinner at your dining area.
Okay.
Room service is open 24/7.
Okay.
I've done like with the kids, like there was one time that we did an adult dining that night. And so I took my kids to the Festival of the Foods and ate earlier at like 5 o'clock with them and I gave them food, fed them. And then I took them to Kids Club and we went to dinner. So like, even though it closed at 6, I've done dinner there with my kids before. And we just did not do the main dining that night.
Oh, okay.
Also done it where we've gone to the main dining at 5:45. I let them eat. And then I did a later Palo. So you can kind of, it's very flexible. You can kind of, you don't have to you can tell your waiters ahead of time, hey, we're not going to be here tomorrow night because we've got Palo or whatever, but you really don't, you just, you don't have to be, if you don't get Palo till last minute, you don't have to go find your waiter and say, hey, I'm not going to be here tonight. Like they understand that you may or may not come. So.
Okay.
And something I absolutely love about these newer ships is when you do go through the buffet line, somebody is serving you on the other side. So the children are not picking their nose and putting their fingers in the buffet silver utensils.
Oh gosh.
Because I have, it's just a phobia and I can't help it. So I typically stay away from buffets on the cruise ships. Just because I just don't like that. But on these newer Disney ships, they have somebody serving you.
That's
So
good.
you're not touching that silverware and there's glass up in front of the food. So I really appreciate that.
I also wanted just to touch on, as someone who has food allergies, that they do, I just like at Disney, they do a really good job on the Disney Cruise Line as well. And they'll ask, you can tell them about your allergies beforehand, and they usually have a note for when you get there, and they'll ask, they'll say, we see someone here has an allergy. And then that they basically, your staff or the waiter staff goes with you to every restaurant. So they always know what you can eat and what you can't eat. So they go ahead and prepare that ahead of time. So
that's good.
They're very accommodating, just like at Disney with that.
That's awesome. I like that. I like to hear that. As someone with the peanut and tree nut allergy, that's important to me.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about the lounges.
Oh my gosh, they're amazing. If you love Haunted Mansion at all, or if you just even kind of like it, you are going to love the Haunted Mansion bar, lounge, whatever we're calling it. And what's so great is children can go in there up into, what time did they tell us? Do y'all remember?
I can't remember. So like,
I think they just said the evening. So I don't know that there was.
Yeah, they didn't really have a time.
Yeah, but
Just they can go there during the day, but they can't go there.
If you got a kiddo that really likes Haunted Mansion, they can go in there, which I thought was really neat.
Okay.
But I love that they have this show. It starts with the clock on the fireplace, and because all the pictures are set correctly, right? They're normal pictures, but then as the clock goes off, the pictures start to change, and then there is like themed lighting and the music and things come to life. Really enjoyed it a whole lot. Really, really enjoyed it. I thought they did a phenomenal job.
Is this the only one that exists? Is this the only Haunted Mansion one, or is it in another ship too?
No, there's another Haunted Mansion one on the Treasure.
Okay, that's what.
And
it is.
then the Wish is the one that has the Star Wars themed.
Okay. The hyperspace lounge or whatever.
Hyperspace lounge. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Is there also a Cruella de Vil lounge or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
this is the only ship with that, I think.
That's the only ship. Okay. Is it still? I mean, like, I know everything is like themed really well. But is the Haunted Mansion one the only one like that's kind of interactive like that?
Well, the Cruella de Vil on certain times, there's a few little showings where she comes in, and there is a really neat, and I don't want to give it away because I feel like people who really enjoy music and Cruella de Vil and those type of experiences together, it's a lot of fun. But Lauren, we waited what, 30 minutes?
Yeah, so I will say with this ship, one of the things that helped us was social media. Because people have been on it, and there's a couple different experiences like this where you need to get in line ahead of time. And because they will, with the Cruella one, that lounge is not huge, and they will cut it off after a certain number of people get in. And so I think we got in line about 30 minutes, and I want to say we were like one of the last five people in the room.
They only let 50 people into that bar.
50?
Yeah, they only let 50 people into that bar.
Okay. That's not a lot.
They have multiple shows. They have multiples of these. So like if you go on the app, it'll show you the schedule and stuff. And they have multiples of them each day where she comes in and stuff like that. And so I would just find the one that you're going to do, and I would get in line as early as you can, and you'll see the line build up. But it was a really cool experience. She comes in, like Kendra said, I don't want to give it away, but like it's not long. I mean, I think, what was it, like 20 minutes?
Maybe 20 minutes. But it was
it's not like you're having to block out a part of your day.
Okay.
It was so worth it.
It was a lot of fun.
I would recommend like 45 minutes ahead, an hour to 45 minutes ahead of time.
Jeez. Okay.
And I will say our cruise, our sailing that we went on was very heavy adult. There weren't a lot of children on this cruise. So all of these adults knew about this show. I mean, there was actually a lot of people in line dressed up in black and white or Dalmatian or no, I'm serious. Like people were, because they had prepared to come to this show dressed up, themed, and it was really, really a neat experience. And then the Dr. Facilier parlor, which was really, really cool.
Yeah. So what was that like?
They only take in about 10, not even 10
like
at a time.
Maybe they did 13 and then like maybe no more than 15
at a time.
But they have multiples of those. So like if you get in line, he did say, so that was another one that I saw that you have to get in line ahead of time. But I did learn while I was in line, because I think I sat down in line at like an hour before because we weren't sure.
And we all rotated through lunch because we wanted to make sure this was the last time we would get to experience it, because we missed the other couple of experiences of Dr. Facilier, because it only happens a couple of times while you're on your sailing. And so we rotated out lunch, and we were the second group that got to go in for our experience. But if you are in line by a certain time, even though the line may be long, you will get to experience this.
Okay.
And they do not allow you to They do not allow you to take photos, but you go into his parlor, and it is small, and it's a really cool interaction with Dr. Facilier himself and the card. He's the card man, the cards. And it's a really, really neat experience. And my daughter, and Lauren and I talked about this, my daughter and her son are a year apart. Well, right at a year apart. And I think my daughter would like it, but Lauren's son probably not. Her youngest or her daughter would, but her son would.
My 3-year-old would be all in. She would be in heaven because she was.
I think you just need to use, caution. It's not scary. There are no jump scares. There are no there's nothing scary about it. It's just, Dr. Facilier, his voice is a little scary, especially, for some kids when he laughs.
Yeah.
Well, and it's darker in there.
Yes.
There's also age limits. What was the age, Lauren?
They said recommended 10.
Okay.
But my daughter is right. But my daughter is 7, and she would really like it. And just like Lauren said, her 3-year-old would love it. So,
that's so funny.
I probably wouldn't take her in there just because at 3 years old, I'd probably wait till she's a little bit older, but I think she would love it now. But it's very intimate. You're very close to him. It's only 10 minutes. So it's not, once again, not this huge, long experience. And when I was sitting there, I did talk to the cast member. He did say, he basically said, like, you could get in line if it starts at 1:45. You could get in line at 1:45, or he said they usually cut it off about 10 minutes after it starts. So like they'll cut the line at like 1:55 or something like that, or 2:00.
Okay.
But at that point, if you get in line at 1:45, it could be an hour or more of a wait to get in, but they will get you in. So you really just have to decide, like, do you want to go in and sit down and wait, before it starts, or are you going to wait after? So you're going to wait pretty much no matter what you decide, because people do start lining up like an hour before. But they will, as long as you get in line when it starts at the time on the schedule, they will get you in.
Okay.
But I will say very well worth it. A different experience that you cannot get anywhere else.
Right. Is there any other experiences on the ship that we haven't talked about?
Yes, you can have an encounter with Maleficent. That's another kind of experience. Just a little quick show, kind of like the Cruella thing or the Dr. Facilier. This boat was very unique in that aspect as well. It's the only one that does these types of encounters.
Okay.
And that was very unique to this ship, which is also really cool. You can also, like on the other ships, they have the, I don't remember what it's called, Lauren, you might remember, the little game that you can play on board. And they have that as well, except for this time you're trying
to. The Haunted Mansion one? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, but there's, what's it called on the Dream and the Fantasy? What's it called on that one?
It's the Muppet one, right?
Yeah. Well, like art. Is it like an art one?
Yes, it's an art heist.
Yeah, so there's like an art heist game, and you walk around. You can explore the ship, and you go find the little art pieces, and there's like pieces on the ship that will interact. In this case, it was with the Magic Band or the Disney Band that we have, but it will also do it with the Key to the World card.
Okay.
And this time we were capturing Ghost, so it was really cool.
Nice.
Like you can do that. It's just fun to do with your kids, or even like Lauren and I even did it late one night after everything kind of settled down. We wanted to try it out. So it's a lot of fun. My kids loved it on the Dream. I'm sure they would like it on this ship as well. So that's just something else fun to do. I think there's also a game that we found later that you can do inside the app where it also takes you around the ship. I think, Lauren, did you look into that?
I did. I kind of opens it up, and it looks like you like take pictures of certain places. It'll send you around the ship, and you have to like find things. And I know that was on this ship. I've never tried. We didn't play it, but I've never done it. I never opened it, tried to do it on the other ship, so I don't know if it's on the older ships. But I will say for this one, on the older ships, it's everything they like when you do the game, there's like a little station that you start at, and it gives you like a map to follow, and so everything's there, so you don't have to, you're not really using your magic band or a key of the world card. It's like all there. Okay. On the newer ship, this Haunted Mansion one, it does require the new magic band. And we did learn, because we had to go multiple times, that your magic band has to be fully charged. It won't even, we tried to do it, and it won't even let you start it without it being fully charged, and it has to be updated. Okay. So we went and charged it, came back and realized, and you have to update it in the app. And it'll, but once you do all that, you start it. And we did it. I mean, I would say we did it later at night when the ship was a little bit emptier. And it does keep you send you around the ship, but it does try to keep you in, one side of the ship for a little while, and then it sends you to the other side. So you're not like going back and forth and back and forth. It tries to keep you close to each other, but it was a lot of fun.
I love that. Speaking of the, is it called a magic band, or is it called something else on the show or on the ship? Like, is it?
It's a Disney Band Plus.
Disney Band Plus. Okay.
That's the new one.
So tell me about like what things you can do with it. Like, can you go into your room? Like, does it open your door?
Yes.
Okay.
It will charge things. It operates just like the magic band.
Okay.
It opens your room. You can charge things to it. It interacts with these games on the ship. Things like that. And you can also take your magic band. It doesn't have to be like, you can take your magic band plus and connect it to and use it on the Disney ship as well. You don't have to buy a new Disney Band Plus band.
Yeah.
But the Disney band won't work at Disney World, or will it?
I haven't tried that.
It will.
It will?
It
okay.
Will.
I think it will.
Yeah, it will.
It's all Disney Band Plus.
Okay.
Yes. And your Disney will work there, and Cruise will work at Disney. It's vice versa, but it is the plus one that has the lights. Because I mean, I'm still using like old bands too that will still work, but it is the ones that have the lights on them, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That you have to plug in. That you have to charge.
Okay.
But you don't have to charge it to get into your room or anything like Disney World. It pretty much replaces your key to the world card. So like you basically that's your room key is on a ship, and you used to have like you'd have a lanyard, and you carry that around because that's what you use to pay for your, if you get a drink, or if you get specialty coffee, or if you do anything, you use that to charge things.
You can also get off the boat with it and back on the boat with it as well.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually like
used
that.
to get around.
Yeah. I like that they did that. That makes it a lot easier.
Yes.
So in this ship specifically, how is it only 4-night sailings, or do they do multiple nights or multiple options?
They alternate between 4 and 5 right now. You can do a 4-night cruise or a 5-night cruise.
Okay.
That it may reposition or go somewhere and do longer and later on in the year, but right now it does 4 nights and 5 nights.
Okay.
And it is out of Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, that was my next question. Okay. And do you feel like a 4-night is enough time to do most of what you want to do, or would you recommend doing another night?
No, I like being on a cruise, especially a Disney cruise, for like seven nights, 7 days or 7. Yeah, I really, and we all talked about this while we were on there. We just were like, we just want to be on a Disney cruise for longer. We just like to do it for longer.
Sure. I mean, don't we all?
I think you can hit, I mean, like if you just absolutely, if your schedule doesn't allow for a 7-night cruise, like Kendra said, that's our preference, but we love cruising and we love Disney. So that's our preference. But like, I think that if you're a family and you can't do the 7-night cruise because of scheduling, a 4-night, you can do the things that you want to do and have a good experience on a 4-night or a 5-night cruise. Okay. And you can hit these things and all of these things we've talked about. We did all these things while we were on this 4-night cruise. So you can definitely get things done on those on a 4-night or a 5-night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just if you want to
And just
feel
like
maybe
Disney
a little more
World.
relaxed, just go on a 5-night, so you don't have to feel as rushed. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
And I would say
I feel
just
like the longer it is, the more relaxed kind of it can feel. But
Right.
it depends on where you're going too. Like I will say that when we went on our Mediterranean one, we were off the ship every day. So that was, I wouldn't consider that necessarily relaxing, but it was so
Right.
much fun.
Right.
It wasn't what I would consider relaxing.
Okay. Fair enough. What were you
And
going
I
to
would
say, Lauren?
like just like Disney World, you're not gonna be able to do everything. So you need to, like kind of pick your priorities, like what do you for sure want to do, and kind of, put those at the top of the list, and then have like things that like, okay, I would love to do these if we can. I usually suggest to clients who've never been on one, and are a little bit more nervous to get on a cruise. 4 nights is a good place to start because it's 7, like if you've never been on a cruise, 7-night can feel a little bit longer. And so if you're not sure like how you're going to do on the ship and all that kind of stuff, 4-night to me is a really good place to start because it gives you that experience. You get to hit the highlights and do the things, and then you can be like, okay, I'm ready for a 7-night next time or whatever.
Okay.
It is a good.
Okay. I have a question for each of you. Which of the however many ships there are now, are there 8, 7, 9? I can't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8?
I think there's 8.
Okay.
Well, about to be with the adventure, there will be 8.
With the adventure, there will be 8.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay. So, which of the ships are each of yours favorites? Like, which would you do over and over again?
I think this one was mine.
Okay.
But I haven't been on all of them. I haven't been on the 2 older ones. So or the Treasure. So I've been on the Dream, on the Fantasy, on the Wish, and now on the Destiny. Between those 4, the Destiny is my favorite.
Okay.
I like some of the legacy ships for what Kendall was talking about earlier about how the adult areas are all basically secluded. So if you go with adults, you really don't have to see children. And I love children. I used to be a teacher and I have 2 kids. But when I am not with my children, I really don't want to hear screaming kids in the background. So, I mean, that's just, let's be honest. If I'm doing an adult only trip, I just kind of would like to be adults only. And the legacy ships, the Magic, the Wonder, the Dream, and the Fantasy, they all have private adult areas. Literally, you could book your room in a certain part of the ship, take the elevator and go to these areas and then go up to and you just don't have to interact with children. But if I'm going with my girls, we love the Wish. It's because I have girls, it is a very princess centric ship.
Okay.
And my girls love it.
That's the, I would call Cinderella ship, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Very, very princess centric.
Okay. What about you, Lauren?
So personally, I think I would say that the Destiny is probably my favorite right now.
Okay.
For me, I loved the different, it's not just princesses and Mickey. Like, I love the fact that you had all these villain experiences, and Hercules is like my favorite Disney movie. Like, I love that. That's just growing up, that was one of my favorites. And so the show was incredible. Like, I really liked a lot of the things the ship had to offer. I do agree with Kendra on the adults area. I like the adult areas better on the older ships, especially with if I had kids, because on this ship there was one of the things we did talk about was that one of the adult areas, the downstairs part is closed off. Like, they'll close the doors once you're in there, but the upstairs is more open. And so if you have kids just walking by it on their way to their room, or if you're trying to get somewhere and you're just walking around it, you can hear what's going on in there. And they had the Match or Mate show that was going on. And so there's a little bit more adult things talked about. And so I would be specific about not taking my kids around there. And that's something that I would, if I had a client going on there, I would say, hey, just make sure you're aware of this, because that's just something you wouldn't, because on the older ships, it is all closed off. Like, there's no chance of kids getting anywhere near there. But but I would say that
when she's talking about Match Your Mate, it's very adult sensitive conversation.
Oh.
If we all catch my drift and where I'm going, Match Your Mate. So just use your.
So just, I would, as a parent, I would check the schedule on on these newer ships where the adult stuff is going to be, and just kind of be aware of if I, with my younger kids, maybe I'll just kind of stay away from that area just for during this part.
Okay.
But like a lot of it's like trivias are going on there. So it's not that, I mean, sometimes it's not that big of a deal. Like it's just a trivia or whatever, but just be aware of that. But I like the theming of this ship, but my kids love the Dream. I love how, it's to me, I don't know, there's just a lot to offer on the Dream. But I really want to go on the Magic. Cause like I said, I'm a big Rapunzel Tangled fan, and that's got the show and the dining. And so I don't know, I would say probably if I go on that might end up being my favorite just because of Rapunzel, but the Destiny probably right now is the top runner.
Okay. So Lauren, because you mentioned the Magic and Tangled, I like Rapunzel's my favorite princess right now. So would you like for my first cruise, would you recommend that ship, or would you recommend like a newer one for me?
I would probably, if you really want to do a Tangled theme, I would go Magic. Now I tell my clients, don't pick, because each ship to me has something different to offer. And I think you're going to have an incredible time on it no matter which one you choose. I would pick it based on the schedule and itinerary. Cause like the Magic, for example, is only going to be out of Alaska this summer. So if you can't if you want to go on a cruise this summer and you can't get to Alaska, then that's obviously not an option. So, but if you can, I would say for your first one, for me, the first one we did with my kids was the Dream. And that was probably I'm glad we started there. Okay. I think my kids, they loved it. And we're going, like I said, we're going on the Wish, and I'm really excited to see what their reaction is to the newer kids club area and all the new stuff on this ship. But I would say starting with the Legacy one is a good place, but I mean, it's hard to say. Like I said, every ship has its perks. I mean, every ship offers something amazing. And so I think you just kind of have to, I think you'll like certain things and you won't like certain things about each ship, in my opinion. So,
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, whenever I do go on it'll be with the whole family, including my mother. But my kids right now are 9 and 6. So I feel like the Destiny, the way you guys describe it, would probably kind of fit with what they would really like. Kind of based on what they're interested in and kind of their ages, would you say?
Yeah, it has a good variety. So like if you have boys and girls, like you and I both have, I have, Kendall does too. Like I have a girl and 2 boys. I think because it still has princesses and it has all of the elegant stuff too. And so I think it kind of hits all the different theming for all ages and for both boys.
I would agree with that. I feel like Disney really has heard families with boys go, hey, we really want something where we can take our boys and our girls and we can hit both Marvel and we can hit princesses and we can have these really great family experiences. And the Destiny, it does that. Okay. It checks all those boxes.
Okay. I have one last question, and it's about the day, the special days they have. So like the Pixar Day at Sea and the stuff like that. Like, tell me about those.
Well, those are special sailings, and Disney announces those, and those special sailings take place obviously throughout the year. And you have different opportunities. I know that they've done Star Wars, they've done Marvel, they've done Pixar. I'm trying to remember all the things that they have done. But they'll have a special day at sea where
Halloween one too.
Oh yeah, that's right. They have Halloween on the high seas and Very Merry Christmas Time. And I have actually done both of them, and they're a lot of fun. But we love holidays, so we really enjoyed that very, very much. And they have, like, for Halloween on the high seas, they'll do like different trick-or-treating opportunities, and they have the big tree out in the middle that has special meaning, and they have story time, and the characters are dressed up in their costumes, and it's where you see the Hocus Pocus sisters, but it's Minnie, Daisy, and Clarabelle dressed up like the Hocus Pocus sisters, the Sanderson sisters. But then on a Christmas, you've got the gingerbread house, and you have the different characters in their holiday attire, and you've got the Christmas movies, the Disney Christmas movies that are playing. And so it's all very themed towards those cruises. And you do pay a little bit extra for those cruises because you get different experiences that you're not going to get on any other sailing. But if those types of things are important to you, the little extra is not that big of a difference, if that makes sense, because of what you're getting.
Okay. So Destiny specifically, do they do any of those specialty cruises?
I think they will have the Christmas and the Halloween ones.
Okay.
At the end of this, during that season, I think they'll have some of those, but they're not currently doing the Pixar or the Marvel one. I don't think right now, because it's a newer ship. They might next year. I haven't looked at the 27 itineraries for those, but those usually happen in the spring, and I don't think they're doing any right now, since it's the newer ship. But I took my kids on the Halloween one last year, and they absolutely loved it. And we're not big, we like trick or treating and stuff like that, but we're not big scary. Like I said, my son gets scared about everything. So, but it's very kid friendly. It's like the Mickey's, not so scary Halloween party. It's very, very kid friendly. And they have like a one of the nights, they have the pirate night still. And then they have a Halloween night where the kids get to dress up in their costumes and they trick or treat. And my kids absolutely loved that.
That's awesome.
And they also have the themed food that night. The menu changes that night in the restaurants.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was a lot of fun. We all dressed up as the Toy Story gang. Even my parents, they got in as the Potato Heads. So,
oh my gosh.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And there's no scary aspect to it. And there's also like the big shows that happen. I feel like there were fireworks at sea 2 nights. I feel like we had the pirate fireworks and the Halloween fireworks. I could be wrong about that, but I really think that we did. Lauren, do you remember on your sailing?
It just had the one firework on mine. So it just had the pirate night fireworks. It did not have any for the Halloween night. They had a party up on the deck for Halloween. They had the trick or treating, and they had a party on the deck and everything.
The Christmas one that I went on, it didn't have but one.
All right, I'm making it up.
I've made it up in that way. It's changed. They could have changed it. So, I mean, we've been on the most recent ones, but yeah, no, but they do have, like you said, they do have like the themed party, and they had a whole, like, the characters were on stage while the kids were all dressed in their costumes and dancing, and it was a whole thing.
That's awesome.
And they had trick or treat bags, which, what kid doesn't like candy? So that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Okay, here's my last question. My very, very last one. If let's say you have a client that has just exclusively gone to Disney World, and they're looking to expand their choices with the Disney Company, what would you say to get them or to convince them to do a cruise?
Well, it's no longer a quest for fun. It's actually a relaxing vacation. I mean, it's actually...
Yeah, so I would say it depends on who they are. So, like, for me, one thing, I've actually got a couple of families that are trying a cruise for the first time this year after going to Disney many times. And a lot of them have younger kids like I do. And right now, if you had to ask my kids what would they rather do, they would choose they call it a Mickey boat. I want to go on a Mickey boat. And they love, I think it gave my daughter the characters that to me, if you want to meet characters, a Disney cruise is the way to go. Disney World has the characters, but they're all, it's hard to find them all. The lines can get really long there, and it'd be hard. And so with the cruise, they have them all in just one central area most of the time, and they're scheduled really well. And so my daughter loved that. My son, like I said, would live in the kids club if they would let him. He would never get out. So I think it allows me, like, I took my 3 kids who are ages 6, 3, and 1. And they have an incredible nursery on the ship too. That is an extra. So kids club is included, but kids up to 3 who are not potty trained. So if you're 3 and not potty trained, you still have to go to the nursery, but you have to be potty trained to be in the kids club. And so there is a nursery, and it is an extra charge, but I think it's like $9 or $10 an hour. It's really not much.
It's very nominal, very nominal fee.
Yeah. I signed my son up for a couple different times because I would go and I did the adult dining, and then I went laid by the pool for a little bit, and he even loved going to the nursery because they have the toys, the theming in there. And one night we scheduled, like, my kids went into the kids club, and I scheduled a nursery for him around like bedtime. So I brought my friend with me, and we went and did some trivias, and he went to sleep in there. And so he just slept in there, and then I went and picked him up. We went to bed, and I just laid him back down, and he went back to sleep. And so they do to me, right now, for me and my kids' ages, to me, it's more of a vacation versus a trip. And it allows me to have incredible time with my kids, but also have maybe a little bit more rest time.
Yeah.
And so I would probably tell families, like with kids, like, if you want the Disney feel, the everything about Disney, but you also want to not be walking all day long or running around trying to hit the next ride. And if you want more of a restful vacation, a cruise would definitely be the way to go.
Also, too, you can have that Disney experience, but also see other parts of the world. Like if you go on a Caribbean cruise, you can see another country. If you go to a European one, you can see another, or you can go see Alaska. Like you can have that Disney experience, but you can also see other places.
Yeah.
And so that's a draw for me when I pick a cruise over Disney World.
Yeah.
Is that I can have that Disney experience, but I can also see other places around the world.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about
to,
Alaska. Like I've heard it's really cool.
Absolutely. And you don't have to move your luggage. That's the other thing. You're staying, it's a moving hotel. So when we did the European cruise, it was amazing that we could see places like Rome and Florence, and we went to Pompeii and we went to Capri, and we did not have to move rooms. We just got to get off the ship and experience, and then come back and know that you're coming back to dinner that's being cooked. You don't have to worry about that. You know that your stateroom and your laundry and your towels and all of those things are provided for you, and mom gets an actual vacation.
Yeah,
that sounds good to me.
I will say on that one, like with my son, like we one day we did Rome all day, and we just brought Jamie because he was 4 at the time, and my daughter, she was not, I think she just turned 1, so we left her home with the grandparents, and we had him, and we did a whole day at Rome, and it was a long day. Like it was walking and seeing all the things, and as a 4-year-old, you don't really care about the Vatican. Let's be honest. That statue over there. So he was like following us. He was just like, he was a trooper. He did great. We had a stroller for him. Like he was all in. He was fine. But he was so excited when he got back on that ship and he got to go to Kids Club. And so for him, we got to take him to Europe and we got to do some really cool things with him. But at the same time, he had the best trip because he knew that he would get to go to that kids club that night and get to let out all of his energy and be able to do kid things again. And so I think it gives that good variety for the whole family to be able to hit some of these amazing locations, but then also their kids get to have their kid friendly vacation too.
Okay. Oh, those are great reasons. I like that. Kendra, do you want to mention what deals you have going on right now within Zip?
So I was going to let Lauren and Kendall talk about the current promotions at Disney, and then we'll talk about the fun stuff.
Okay. Take it away.
So Disney Cruise they currently have, a couple different promotions. One of them, the biggest one they just released, I think it was last week. And it's on certain Disney Dream and Disney Wish sailings between April and July. I think it goes all the way through July. And they have specific cruising. There's a list of them, and it is 20% off. And then you also get a $250 onboard credit. And I've already booked a couple of these. And it's honestly the thing about the Disney World, you see they do release discounts a lot and you see them coming out a lot. Disney Cruise does not release as many discounts as Disney World. So when they do, it's the time to jump on them. So this one is 20% off and $250 onboard credit. And then Kendall, you want to tell them about the placeholder one they have right now?
Yeah. So I booked a placeholder one. When you go on a Disney cruise, before you leave, you can book a placeholder and pay a $250 deposit to hold a spot on a future cruise that can be used between the time you leave and 2 years from that day. So if you do that, typically it's a 10% discount on your next cruise. But right now they are doing an additional amount off. So you can get up to 25% off on select sailings. And those run through the rest of the year. And they have, it just gives you an extra incentive to use that placeholder now and on those certain cruises if you already have one.
Okay.
They also, with that one, have, they usually with the placeholder don't ever let you do a discount on concierge. But for this one, you could get 10% off concierge. But it's just during, I think it's just during a certain time period. There are blockout dates. And again, these are most of these all have some kind of specific itineraries that you have to choose them on.
Okay. But still, those are nice to have those discounts.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice perk.
Okay.
I was gonna say, but they're the typical Florida resident ones, military ones, those they usually have.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually more last minute though. They're not going to be you can't book them as far out, but they do have those typical discounts too.
And
Okay.
they have some additional discounts that are guaranteed rooms. That means that the room has some restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get up to 35% off on some sailings. So
Dang.
those they usually run those they different times of the year, and right now they have several 3, 4, 5, and 7 night cruises. But again, these are select sailings, and but they are all over. Like they have a few out of Galveston, Fort Lauderdale, Port Canaveral, Vancouver, San Diego, Honolulu. So like they do give you multiple choices, but you are in that guaranteed or restricted rate category.
Okay. And you're able to, how far can you book out right now? Like what's the latest or the farthest out date that you can book a cruise?
They have them all the way through spring of 27.
Okay.
But they are going to be releasing, I want to say like summer of 27 and probably through spring of 28 pretty soon.
Okay.
We were expecting to hear that pretty soon.
Okay. Very good. And Kendra.
Yes, I'm so excited. So we want to show the love to the Capture the Magic community, and we want to offer up to $750 in an onboard credit drawing. This is exciting. So I know let's get details though, okay? So you have to book by the end of February in order to be entered into this drawing. And combining with these other offers that Disney has in their promotions that they are running right now. And if you cruise by September 27th of this year, you will get, and if your name is in the drawing, you will get the $750 onboard credit. If you cruise after September 27th of this year and you're in the drawing, it will be a $500 onboard credit. And how you get entered in the drawing is you book with Zip. You contact us and share the promo code Show the Love. That is what we are doing this month for all of the Capture the Magic audience.
That is awesome. So you said Show the Love is the code?
Show the Love.
Show the Love. Okay. And you can go to vacationwithzip.com to do that, right? To get started with that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Show the love. And just so everyone's aware that's listening, how can, besides the website, how can they find you like on social media?
So we are Zip Travel Co. on Instagram and on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We would love to grow that Instagram audience because our Facebook audience is at like almost 6,000 followers, and Instagram we is struggling. So come follow us on both if you will. That would be awesome.
Yay. And Kyndal and Lauren, you guys have your own handles, right?
I'm not on Instagram. I am on Facebook. It's just my name.
And then I'm on both Facebook and Instagram. And you can probably find me by searching my name, but with Instagram, it's Lauren Fletcher and then _ Zip Travel Co. So I am on both. I'm usually pretty visible on both too, but
Okay.
I'm more of an Instagram person. But
Okay. Perfect. Is there anything else that you guys want to mention, ladies?
We're just excited to be part of the Capture the Magic family for so many years.
I know.
Absolutely.
How long has it been? What?
We joined forces with you guys in 2020 before the world fell apart.
That is right.
I think it was February of 2020. So it was
Wow.
right before the world
That
fell
is
apart.
great timing. No, 6 years. That's crazy. That's awesome.
know.
That's
I
awesome.
know time moves fast, right?
Yes, it
When you're
does.
having fun.
It does. Well, thank you so much, you guys. You guys are 3 of my favorite Disney people, and I love talking to y'all about basically everything. And now you guys are going to be at Disney next week or this week?
We are. We all arrive on, well, Lauren and Kendall arrive a little bit early, but we have our annual agency training. It is called Capstone. And we arrive Saturday morning in Orlando, and we will be there the whole week doing all kinds of fun things.
Awesome.
So not only do we love the mouse, and we might love, we hate to say that we love him the most, but we really might love the mouse the most. We will be down training with Universal Parks. United Parks. We're very excited to be at Discovery Cove coming up this week.
Ooh.
And at SeaWorld. Very excited about that. We are going to be on Sunday on Royal Caribbean's newest ship, the Star of the Seas. Very excited about that. And then we're also meeting with our Carnival rep and talking about all the new fun things with Carnival. So we have a lot coming up on the docket. So we're very excited about our fun training week ahead of us.
Sounds super relaxing.
Yes, so much so. It's, they'll hear knees to chest. And that just means walk really fast. We have things to do.
Nice. It's like walk with purpose. Walk with purpose. I like to say that. Okay, well that's all. You probably check out your social media or you guys be updating that while you're there.
Absolutely, they should definitely check it out.
Perfect.
And for some fun things that will be happening along the way.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much, ladies. It was great talking to you.
You too.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
I miss y'all. I hope to see you soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Please.
All right. Well, that is, I think, going to do it for the show.
Yeah, and don't forget to use that promo code Show Your Love on the giveaway that they're doing. Again, make sure you follow them on social media. And I'll also put it on our Facebook group and Instagram so you guys can see that as well. So it's a pretty good giveaway. Not lying.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the show. So be sure to check us out on social media at Captain Magic. And that's everywhere. And then including YouTube, where I do daily videos as well under Captain Magic. We have live streams and stuff over there. So go check that out. And then, of course, we have video versions of this show over at CTM Podcast on YouTube also. And then we have the Universal show, which is every Tuesday. I can catch on this feed and also on this same channel on YouTube. And we recently talked about Universal had their earnings report, so they're looking to be on the up and up, and all this is going to be very interesting for the coming years between Disney and Universal, undoubtedly. So check that out there. And then, of course, if you like what we do around here, you like to contribute to the show, you want some additional content, things like that, you can look at joining Club 32, and that's our private group where we do all that additional content with weekly live streams. You get 25% off of CTM Apparel Company products year round, so it's like Black Friday all the time. Private Facebook group. We have music loops from the parks on that podcast feed as well as the content there, and some other stuff we're going to do in the group. And we have meetups, all sorts of stuff. So you got questions on trips, want help trip planning, or just whatever, interact with us a bit more. That's a great place to do that. And it also helps us continue to, pay the light bill and the internet bill and all those things that allow us to do this show. So if you wanted to go check that out, you can go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options. If you do the yearly, you get a free t-shirt, and it's a little bit cheaper overall. And then, of course, if you're on YouTube as well, you can join in the membership options below. You get the same perks either way if you'd like to join Club 32. And we greatly appreciate our Club 32 members and help to continue to do what we do here. So greatly appreciate it. Very welcoming group. So if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you join the group. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
We will see you in the parks.
bye.